Here we have question number 1 of module 2nd, and it is December 20 guidelines, and we are starting with secretarial audit, compliance management and due diligence. So here is the first question, that a very potential question which arises for consideration is an extent of detailed verification that has to be restored before certifying the annual return. So very pertinent question for detailed verification, and being a company secretary, we need to check out the guidelines principles which can be adopted while deciding and checking the annual return. So here is the question answer, that company secretary is required to be considered a responsible, wow, what a line they've written, since he is bound by certification in annual return. A very pertinent question which arises for the consideration is the extent of detailed verification that has to be resorted to or before certifying the annual return. So here the proper technique for sample checking and test checking should be resorted to before forming a reasonable opinion. So there has to be proper sample checking and also the test checking before should be resorted to a reasonable opinion, and there is no specific modalities or stringent test practices applicable for certification of annual return. However, the following guidelines principles can be adopted while deciding about the extent of checking that is required. Now, the need for detailed checking is greatly reduced if company secretary confirms that there are adequate measures of internal control and checks and balances but built into the systems and procedures of the organization. For instance, the procedure for registration and share transfer could also be decided that mistakes and errors committed, first of registration हो गया, share transfer हो गया, that the mistake and errors committed in the first stage are automatically detected and corrected by another. Now, before the whole process is complete, the system could also provide for automatic cross verification, particularly in case where the process is computerized. Now, the principle of materiality is another concept. The sample chosen for detailed checking should be representative on the population in statistical parlance. Now, referring the example of the share transfer again, instance of share transfer for a large block of shares could be chosen for detailed scrutiny. Now, the busy period for the transfer of shares in a year could also be identified and select for sample checking. High risk area could be identified and subject to more extensive scrutiny. For instance, in the case of shares on which there are restrictions on transfer of securities or otherwise, a more extensive examination is warranted. Now, in conclusion, it may be pointed out that in the ultimate responsibility of the document certified will rest with the professionals. Now, while the extent of checking is a matter of personal judgment, now he should safeguard him against any possible charge of negligence in respect of inaccurate or incomplete statement certified by him. We can write even more. Privacy for records and its internal control. Its control is most important function of the secretarial department. Of an organization, a record of the contracts and commercial documents and trade secrets are to be kept confidentiality. Now, we need to describe the alertness that to be observed with respect to keeping of the said records. The answer of this is, the alertness that to be observed with respect of keeping of records of contracts and commercial documents. The trade secrets are described as under. In case of business contract, every details of the arrangement should be treated with utmost confidentiality for both organization itself and also for the benefit of the third party. If the contract has confidentiality agreement, it could be breach of terms if an authorized person gets its hand on a physical copy of a contract, the contract full of commercial sensitive information, then such as nature of the arrangement, the value of the services offered, received in the agreement, the name of the main contracting parties. Okay, now the business should avoid sharing contracts and strictly required and limiting physical copies. Now business may consider using digital signature for signing contracts in order to reduce unnecessarily print out, thereby ensuring confidentiality. While there are some of the most important documents required to be stored securely, the easiest and safest ways to reduce the risk of a data breach is to implement a secure document retention policy specific to the needs of the organization. Now the confidential business information such as proprietary information, trade secrets that shall not be generally known to the public and would not ordinarily be available to the competitors also. Now the common example for trade secrets include the manufacturing process and methods, business plans, financial data, budgets, forecast, computer programs and data compilation, and customer and client list, ingredient formulas, recipes, membership or employee list, supplier list. Trade secrets do not include information that a company voluntarily gives to potential customers and also posts on its website or otherwise freely provides to other outside the company. Now, if such confidential information is available freely in a wrong hands, then it could be misused to commit illegal activities. And if the disclosure of the sensitive employee and management information can lead to the loss of employees' trust, confidence, and loyalty, this almost always results in the loss of productivity. Now we have another question, that is the continued adoption of web, mobile, cloud, social media technology that has to be explained by the companies has increased opportunity for attackers for online fraud. We need to explain that. Online fraud has increased, and this is really important answer. I should mark important on the forefront. Important, okay. Now the continued adoption of web, mobile, cloud, social media technology has increased opportunity for attackers. Now these trends have resulted in the development of an increased boundaryless ecosystem within which companies operate, and thus a much broader attack surface is exposed to the fraudster to exploit. Now various online fraud like hacking. There is hacker fraudster obtain unauthorized access to the card management system of irrespective banking companies, and counterfeit card are then issued for the purpose of money laundering. Okay, and phishing, that is a technique to obtain the cards, that is the credit card, debit card and identity card, security access card and the personal details through a fake email. Phishing is through email. Phishing is email. Now these cards are then used for committing frauds. Now farming is basically a similar technique where the fraudster install malicious code on a personal computer or server. This code then direct click you to make you a website of another fraudulent website. So farming is from website. So farming through website. And there is a wishing. Wishing is a practical of making calls and leaving voice messages on the order to obtain the personal information. Now this type fraudster use a phone to solicit personal information, then misuse the information. So it is related to the calls. Wishing is related to the calls. Now smishing. Smishing, it basically uses where it uses cell phone text messages to lure customers, and often smishing basically text. Smishing basically text. ठीक है, text के through हो रहा है. Often number has automated response. And again, like phishing, smishing, message usually asks for And debit card skimming, that is a machine and camera install ATM which picks up card details, related information, PIN number when customer use their card. This fraud is harmful for the banking company at very large extent. Now computer viruses, we know with every click on the internet the system of the company are open to risk of being affected, and inferious software that has been set up harvest information from the company servers. Now counterfeit information, that is fake check and demand drafts that look too good to be true but are being used in a growing number of fraudulent schemes, including foreign lottery scams, check overpayment scams, internet auction scams, and others. Now I need to check out here one by one. If we talk about hacking is like unauthorized access to the card. Okay, phishing is through email. Wishing is through calls. Farming is through website. Smishing is through text messages. Debit cards skimming through camera. Computer viruses could also be happen, and counterfeit instrument like fake check, demand draft. Again repeating, hacking, we know that unauthorized access, phishing through emails, smishing through text, wishing through calls, farming through website. Okay, website के through आजकल farming हो रही है. And the counterfeit means fake checks, fake demand draft. Computer viruses, debit card skimming through camera. So we have another question here, that is question number first D part, that is travel and tourism industry are employed to various important laws. I'm just discussing it once, though it is not, we know that what all are the thing that are travel and tourism industry will legal and regulatory framework, that is law related to the consumer protection, health, safety, security, legal liability, risk management, legal liability concept, honor, director liability, guide and leader liability, risk assessment, controlling, risk mitigation, risk financing and insurance. So legal transport legislation, that is law relating to the surface, sea and air transport laws, contract legislation in respect to the travel and tourism customers, business ethic in the travel and tourism sector, that is CSR policy for travel and tourism, forex management, medical tourism, event and law permission has to taken from various other authorities, other laws like management of tourism in tribal areas and setting up of travel industry and tour operating units. Now we have another question, that is question number second, that is ABC Limited have a paid up share capital of 1000 crores and annual turnover of 2.5 crores, 2.500 crores. Now the company has asked you to, as a company secretary in practice, advise to preparation and finalization of the compliance management framework. So we need to maintain a compliance management framework here. Important question. The corporate compliance management framework encompasses various steps relating to the compliance identification, compliance ownership, compliance awareness, compliance reporting, periodical compliance management and information system. So compliance framework basically contains compliance identification, ownership, compliance awareness, reporting, periodical compliance information system. Compliance identification basically involves identification of compliance at various legislation applicable to the company and in consultation with the functional head. The legal team has to identify the legislation applicable to the company and identify the compliance that are required under each legislation or rules or regulations made thereunder. Now the compliance ownership of various compliance has to be described the function wise, individual wise. Clear description of primary and secondary ownership is also very important. Means there has to be clear demarcation between the primary and secondary responsibility ownership. Now the primary owner is mainly responsible for the compliance and the secondary owner is for the supervise usually of the primary owner has to supervise the compliance, that is secretarial officer, company secretary may be primary responsible. Now the compliance awareness covers the establishment of legal compliance management and creation of awareness of various legal compliance amongst those responsible. Now sometimes the compliance are handled by the persons who are not fully aware of the requirement of the legislation, and hence creating appropriate awareness amongst the owners of is very important. Now this could be done in the form of meeting, training, explaining the various compliance of some of the manual containing the details of the compliance. In the process of the compliance, reporting status of the compliance of non-compliance should be communicated to the concern. Now reporting of non-compliance ensure that the appropriate corrective actions is being taken by the responsible person in case of failure in doing the compliances. Means reporting of non-compliance has to be ensured that appropriate corrective action has been taken by the responsible person in case of someone has not followed the compliance. Now in process of compliance reporting status, the compliance or non-compliance should be communicated to the concern, and reporting of non-compliance ensure that appropriate corrective action is being taken by the responsible person in case of the failure in doing compliances. So we have last another question. Jindal Brother has constituted an LLP under the LLP Act. Now there are total 3 partners, and Jindal Brother approached you for maintaining the various books of accounts. Now we need to consider brief note as a compliance requirement for LLP. So LLP के लिए क्या क्या requirement होंगी? So brief note on 34 rule with 24 as compliance requirement under LLP. According to 34 of the LLP partner shall maintain its books of accounts relating to its affair for each year, its existence on cash basis, on cash basis and also on accrual basis according to the double entry system of the accounting. Now the LLP shall maintain its books of accounts at its registered office for a period of 8 years. Means for a period of 8 years they need to maintain its books of accounts at its registered office. Registered office 8 years, books of accounts. ठीक है. Now rule 24 of the LLP, books of accounts of a limited liability partnership shall contain the following. Means what are all the things that need to contain in LLP books of accounts: the particulars of all sum of money received and expended and the matters in respect of which the receipt and expenditure take place, a record of the assets and liabilities, also the statements of goods purchased, inventories, work in progress, finished goods, cost of goods sold, and any other particulars where the partner may decide. Means जो amount receive किया, expend किया, and the matters respected to which receipt and expenditure take place, also the record of assets and liabilities, also the statement of the goods purchased, inventory सबका record, or any other particular when the partner may decide. And sub rule 3 क्या बोलता है इसका, that the books of the accounts of the limited liability are required to be present for 8 years from the date on which they made. And also the remuneration of an auditor by the LLP shall be fixed by the designated partner, okay, not by any partner, by following the procedure as laid down in the LLP agreement. And sub rule ये क्या बोलता है इसका, the purpose of this, every LLP shall file the statement of accounts and solvency in form 8 with the ROC within a period of 30 days from the end of 6 months from the financial year in which the statement of account and solvency relates. Means there has to give account and solvency in the form number 8 with the ROC within a period of 30 days from the end of 6 months of the financial year. Means September and March, to which the statement of accounts and solvency relates. Okay, that has to be mandatory to give. Or auditor के remuneration भी that has to be fixed by the designated partner, और 8 years तक उन्हें बुक kept करनी है to at their registered office. Now There is other thing also, like the following limited liability partnership shall also require to get its annual account audited. The turnover in which exceeds 40 lakh rupees and contribution is exceed 25 lakh rupees. So if contribution is exceed 25 lakh rupees and turnover is exceeding 40 lakh rupees, then they need to go for their account audited. 40 lakh and 20 lakh is of 25 lakh is of contribution, TC, that is contribution and turnover. Question number C, that is search and status report is important for professional to conduct due diligence for the intellectual property rights at reminders what is associated with the intangible assets of the business and the key list area to be analyzed while preparing the search and status report. So the key areas to be analyzed while preparing the search and status report relating to the IPR, like what domestic and foreign patent does a company have, कितने domestic patent है, कितने foreign company patent है, and company has taken appropriate steps to protect its IPR including confidentiality, invention, assignments and agreements with current and former employees and consultants, and are there any material exceptions from such assignments, rights preserved by the employees in consultations, and what registered and common law trademarks and service marks does not company have. ठीक है, तो also the any material exception from such agreement, and also does the company's business depend on the maintenance of an trade secret, and if so then what steps has been taken to preserve that secrecy. Okay, and also if the company is infringe or has any infringe on the intellectual property rights of the third party, so and are the third party infringing on to have the company's intellectual property. Now this company involved in intellectual property litigation or disputes. Patent litigations can be very expensive or receive offers to the license or demand letter from that party. Question number D. State the procedure for KYC of the directors in DIR 3, and we need to mention the non-compliances. What a question. Know your customers, clients of directors is introduced by MCA at the time of allotment of directors identification number, and earlier it was not mandatory for the directors to update their KYC on subsequent changes. Now an insertion of to Rule 12A of the Company's Appointment and Qualification of Directors Rule 2014, every individual who has been allotted in as on 31st March of financial year need to submit DIR 3 for the central government on before 30 September to immediately financial year. Now some point to be noted here that DIR 3 KYC are as under. DIR 3 KYC are required to be filled by every individual who has been allotted in or before 31st March, and also due date for filing DIR 3 on before 30 September on immediate next financial year. Now prerequisite mandatory information, अगर किसी का 30 सितंबर से पहले बना है तो इमीडिएटली नेक्स्ट फाइनेंशियल ईयर में होगा. ओके. Now prerequisite mandatory information for DIR 3 is as under. यूनिक पर्सनल मोबाइल नंबर होना चाहिए, email ID होना चाहिए, certification of DIR 3 KYC. We need to first affix the registered digital signature of respective directors. Also certification by PCS. First we need to affix the registered digital signature of the respective person. Also there has to be a certification by practicing company secretary, and filing of DIR 3 KYC would be mandatory for disqualified directors as well. Means for disqualified director also we need to file TIR 3 KYC. And the consequences are, अगर किसी डायरेक्टर ने फाइल नहीं किया, then MCA shall mark all approved DIN allotted in ITNA against TIR 3 from that form has not been filled, deactivated with the reason as non-filing. So deactivated हो जाएगा. MCA has notified nil fees and late fees of 5,000 applicable after due date as per Rule 12A of the Companies Act. Now we need to go for the alternative answer questions. That is, we need to explain the compliance mitigation risk, compliance risk mitigation, and various risk of non-compliances. I'll discuss this question only in this video and thereafter we'll wind up. So here is the answer, that compliance risk mitigation is basically a process of developing and implementing controls such as standards, policies, procedures, and guidance to minimize or mitigate risk arising from compliance obligations from time to time. Now the company may issue policies that must be implemented at a local level. Now a corporate policy does not encompass local obligations of any unit of a company. Now the local policy to facilitate the effective management of the identified compliance management must be developed. Now framework component policies procedures must be developed and communicated and should be placed on the prominent place in the organization. Now so employees understand their obligations, that is how make a whistleblower report, complaints handling process, and gifts, entertainment and anti-bribery procedures, so on. Now all documents must be easily accessible to employees. Maintenance of the supporting material documents can be in the form of manual, handbook or other physical or electronic means. Now various risk of non-compliances we need to mention here, that cessation of business activity, civil actions, punitive actions, imprisonment हो सकता है, public embarrassment हो सकता है, damage to the reputation हो सकता है, attachment of bank account हो सकता है. That's all. So let's read another question. What it says, that role of the company secretary in IPEP, इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन प्रोटेक्शन फंड में कंपनी सेक्रेटरी का क्या रोल है? कंपनी सेक्रेटरी का बहुत अच्छा रोल है इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन प्रोटेक्शन फंड में. एंड इन्फॉर्म्ड इस, आई थिंक दिस विल रिकॉर्ड इट अनदर चैप्टर, अनदर वीक लेक्चर. थैंक यू.